Let's go, folks. Time for the Gibby Show.
How you doing, baseball fans? Welcome to another edition of the Gibby Show, presented by Miller Lite, the official beer of Major League Baseball, and the Gibby Show. It was a big week. Jays came home. John was up there. John was in Toronto. And I'd like to introduce the man who is the former two-time manager of the Toronto Blue Jays, direct from San Antonio, Texas, my friend John Gibbons. John, how you doing, man?
Johnny, I'm doing good. Yeah, I was up there last week, and I tell you, I had a tremendous time. Was there to promote the book, and it was, and also see some baseball, and I saw so many old friends, and I realized just how much I miss that place.
Yeah, you were up there and met a lot of people. I saw some of the photos. So, yeah, congratulations on all of that. And you're heading up again this weekend, and we'll talk about that at the end of the show and where people can say hello to you. But yeah, you're traveling back and forth. You're traveling everywhere. But we're here to talk Blue Jays baseball. We got such a great show today, Gibby. First and foremost, what a special Gabbing with Gibby we got today. With a guy that really has endeared himself to the fans in Toronto, has really been a spark plug for the team in so many ways. Center fielder KK, Kevin Kiermaier, is going to join us today for the Gabbing with Gibby. So that's going to be really exciting, John.
Yeah, you know what? He's one of the most electrifying players in the game. He really is, and because he's I always viewed him. He could have played in any generation, right? Back because he's hard nosed, speed, tough. Occasionally hit the long ball, play the small ball, all that. Just what the game used to look for back in the 70s and 80s, even prior to that, right? Then the game kind of turned into all power, but he still helped you win those games, and then it's just, if you put it this way, if you're going to win, you need guys like this. And when they made that move to sign him, I thought, yeah, great move.
It was definitely a good move, and we'll also talk about the Blue Jays week, how the starting pitchers, especially the 4 and 5 slots, have come back and really have done much better in their last go-round. And we will also have another Roast and Toast inspired by our friends at Miller Lite. But let's go right to the leadoff. The Jays finish off their first homestand of the young season, went 4-2, which included them breaking the record-tying 13-game winning streak by the Tampa Bay Rays. And the Jays won the first 2 games of that series. They remain in second place right now behind the Rays. But what an exciting first homestand. Electricity was in the air when the Jays came home and finally took home field. It was a great series, and winning the way they did, especially against the undefeated, not anymore, Tampa Bay Rays. What's your feelings on the week with the Jays?
Yeah, Johnny, it was a good home opening week, for the Blue Jays. There's no doubt, the renovations to the place are beautiful. It's got a different feel in there. And then they handled business with Detroit, took 2 out of 3, and then I think everybody was looking at that Tampa series. And the reality is the law of averages were against Tampa. You can't keep. It's too hard to win at the major league level. But that wasn't what happened. Is the Blue Jays just outplayed them? They outpitched them. And when I look at those two teams, though, I don't think you can compare the lineups. I don't think Tampa's lineup is near as strong as
No.
Toronto's is, right? Now they may have the edge a little bit right now on the pitching rotation, but other than that, so they took it to them. And the key to all that is Barrios and Kikuchi stepping up, right? I don't think. I got to be honest with you. I didn't think that was when I first saw that they were the 2 guys that were leading it off against a couple of really good Tampa pitches. I thought, they may keep the streak going because. Unless they shut them down, right? Unless they step up and pitch really well, and that's just what both of them did. So, hopefully that gets both of them going because they're both accomplished pitchers. Confidence is probably a little bit low, but by God, after that, now they ought to be riding high.
Hey, Kikuchi looks really confident in this last start. I mean, he had 13 first pitch strikes. He just looked like a different pitcher, and he just looked like he had this air of confidence that we hadn't seen before.
Yeah, and you know what? When you're struggling, everybody in baseball struggles. I don't care how good you are,
Yeah.
right? It's just too hard to play. But when you're struggling, sometimes it's tough to be confident. I mean, you know what? It seems like if you're a player, position player, you always have that at bat when the game's on the line, important at bat when you're struggling. So your confidence is kind of going, oh gosh, right? Or that's just the way it works, and you got to battle through it. And so the really successful players are mentally tough, but you know what? They both taken a lot of heat. There's no question about that. So I
Hey, it
got to
was
hope
good to
they
see
get
them both
praise.
bounce back. It was good to see them both bounce back. It eased the minds of some people. They got a tough series coming ahead. You're facing the world champion Astros. You're going to New York to play the Yankees. So it's going to be a really another high pressure week for the Jays. But I think they're up to the task, especially on the offense. John, Bo Bichette. I mean, this guy. He goes about his business. He's off to a remarkable start this year in 2023. He's hitting 375. He's got a 997 OPS. He's just incredible. 5 hits in the home opener. And he just looks like he's methodically goes about and does his business. And he just seems like such a professional hitter. And I'm amazed by his just not just the confidence, but just he goes up there, knows what he's going to do, hits the ball everywhere. What's your take on Bo so far?
Yeah, Johnny, he's a unique guy. He really is. He's a pure hitter, but there's a lot to his swing. The leg kick, and he puts a lot into it, and he can hit the home runs. He's also can throw out the line drives, and
Yeah.
he grew up around he just like Vladdy,
Yeah.
they pretty good stock. So he's seen enough big leaguers and been in the clubhouses. So I think he's gained some of that confidence. I can't leave Biggio out of there either.
No.
He's pretty good bloodlines too. So, but he's just some. Bo takes a lot of heat too about his defense, right? He still does, right? It's kind of like when you get a reputation early on, it's almost tough to shake it. I don't care how good he is, right? And but I think that what's in saying that it is so important. He's able to just blow that off because he knows he's good. It doesn't affect his if he makes a mistake on defense, it's not affecting his offense at all. Because he knows he's good, and he knows a lot of it's probably unfair criticism. But yeah, he's one of my favorite players. And
Yeah.
plus we love
Oh,
his
yeah.
hair, man. We all wish we had his
Oh,
hair.
yeah. We had that discussion with him right here on the show last season about his hair and how he,
I
used
got that shampoo.
You got the same
It
shampoo?
didn't work. It doesn't work though for everybody.
No, it don't. But he's got that long mane. But the offense is hitting on all cylinders. And Springer, we got to talk about Springer for a minute. In the home opener, he sent Drew Rasmussen second pitch, 95 miles an hour, 440 feet to left center to open up the scoring. And of note, that was his 53rd career leadoff homer, tying Craig Biggio for third most all time. So that's a big accomplishment. You could hit one leading off. There's not very many guys that can do that.
Oh, you talk about setting the tone early. Yeah, Springer's just that kind of guy. That he's the perfect leadoff guy, but he's very dangerous. You go back and look at Ricky Henderson. He's known as he is the all-time greatest base stealer, but he hit a lot of home runs, right? And he beat you so many different ways, and that's what Springer can do. And I think what's great about their lineup now is you got him leading off, and then in the second leadoff man, number 9 down there is Kiermaier,
Yes.
who we're going to talk about today. And it's not just because that how good they are. It's a mentality these guys bring, man. They're catalysts. They get the team going. They're high energy. They're not going to let anybody just go through the motions. So, Springer, I don't know. Used to watch living down south. You watch Houston play a lot. And of course when I was there, and guy he's just done that his whole career. He's just a star
He's
player,
part
and
of a
that's why
great
they paid him so
chemistry.
well.
part of a great chemistry on the team, and
Yeah.
and also, I mean, something different that happened in the home opener, which people are talking about, and it looks like the Blue Jays have now kind of emulated the New York Mets broadcast. Was last year. Edwin Diaz used to come out to a song called by Timmy Trumpet called "Narco," and they had a very interesting way of bringing Diaz out as his star started to explode. And now the Jays are doing the same thing with Romano. And it really was very cinematic. There was a lot of talk into it. Romano approved it as long as they weren't intrusive on his going out to the mound. But he's going out there, and they shut the lights off. The music starts, and the song that he's using is really kind of a remix of a popular song. I believe it's called Tsunami. But just the way they did it and the way Sportsnet did it and the way it looks like it's going to be a mainstay at home games when Romano comes out to close a game. It's exciting.
Yeah, you know what? Well, he's Jordan's, obviously one of the top relievers in the game. But the game when the closer comes into the game, here it is, man. We win it or lose it, or it's the game's almost over, right? It's that point of the game. And I can remember, watching Rano Rivera come into the game and they play Enter Sandman, and it was just like you knew something was happening. Then some other guys, picked up some songs. But now with like you're talking about when they drop the lights and all that.
Yeah, the cinematic approach. But are you okay with that stuff as a
Oh,
manager for the fans to kind of pump them up before the closer takes the mound?
Yeah, because it is exciting, and baseball definitely needs some extra excitement. That doesn't bother me. What bothers me is all the rule changes. That is nothing like that, So,
but this stuff is kind of entertaining for the fans, and it really is.
Yeah.
I dug it. I just thought the whole presentation, the way it was directed, his approach, him coming out there, that intimacy, I thought it was a really cool thing, and I look forward to seeing more of that many times as this guy comes out and closes many games for the Jays this season.
Well, I think everybody's looking forward to it because if he's coming in there doing that, it means they're winning a lot of games.
Exactly right. Let's get to the other side a little bit. Alek Manoah had some problems in the closing game of the series against the Tampa Bay Rays. And what's your take on what's going on with Manoah? A lot of people are now kind of, this is wrong or that is wrong or this is wrong. Manager John Schneider said he doesn't think it's a mechanics issue. He thinks it's more control. What's your take on what's going on with Alek Manoah?
It's hard to say be honest. Not if haven't seen him a lot, but I watched some of the game the other day a little bit, and first thing came to my mind, wow, he's throwing a lot of breaking balls. Kid's got a great fastball, and that might have been the strategy and all that, but
the slider was just he threw a lot of sliders.
It's big, it's sweeping out of the zone, but he was in a jam early, worked his way out of it, right? And then they end up getting to him a little bit later, but he's the kind of guy, he works you better get him early because then they usually find their groove, and he kind of looked like maybe he was, and then it hit him. But you know what? People probably get tired of me saying he'll be fine, but he's going to be fine. He just didn't all of a sudden lose it. And he's not
a guy that's going to have an ERA of just under 7. That's not going to continue long term.
No, plus not only that, he's too good a competitor. He's not going to back down. He's not going to run from it. He's going to take it head on. He's got Buffalo mentality. He's going to take it head on.
Looking forward to his start against the Yankees later on this week.
He is. Is he by any chance facing Cole that day?
I don't know. That's a good one.
Remember that?
Find that out. But and one last thing about Blue Jays. I mean, there's been a lot of social media is crazy. Not sometimes, all the times. And with the troubles that some of the back end starters had, I mean, there was Twitter was going crazy, social media about how Pete Walker should be fired. What's your take on that, John? I mean, what the heck,
Gosh, man, you know what? It's funny when our guys struggled. It was fire Gibbons. It wasn't never fire Pete Walker or fire the hitting coaches. It was always me. What the heck now?
Right. They're going after
So
the pitching coach.
yes, Schneid's so loved up there. Now they're going after the pitching coach, old Petey. No, I'm teasing, but you know what? That's kind of generally what happens. It's unfair. I know how good Pete is, right? All you got to do is look at his track record. All you got to do is ask the pitchers.
Right.
Usually what happens if things really go bad, the pitchers, they don't like somebody or they don't trust somebody or whatever, they make changes. Not when there's little bumps in the road, because if you can't stay the course and if you can't trust somebody that has a tremendous track record and ride out the storm, you're not very good as a organization anyway, right? You gotta hang together. And for crying out loud, what are they, 10-6 now or something like that?
10-6.
Yeah, they just won 2 out of 3 from the hottest team in baseball, and I think they sent a good message. And like I said, we were talking about earlier, I think Toronto's got a better team in my mind.
Yeah, it's 10-6 is not a bad way to start. The objective, I guess, as a manager is always to win the series. Win 2 out of 3 each time you go out there, and then you can be sitting pretty.
But Pete Walker ain't the problem. I'll tell you that right now.
No, I mean, it's just kind of crazy. That's what social media does. By the way, you're listening to the Gibby Show presented by Miller Lite. And John, you did post something on social media. You had 10 toes up as you were watching the opening game in Toronto. You were there 10 toes up enjoying your Miller Lite, man. And that got an incredible amount of engagement from the fans who follow you on social media.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I stayed at a nice little Marriott downtown Toronto there, and I was tired, man, from the traveling and stuff like that. And so I just kicked back in bed and watched the game.
Hey, did you get room service with the Miller Lite, or did you go down and pick it up and bring it up to the room? What'd you do?
Dude, I always get room service. I'm lazy.
Well, you enjoyed the Miller Lite, and of course, we're happy to have them with us as our presenting sponsor right here on the Gibby
Tastes like Miller time.
It does taste like Miller time. All the time.
Always time. That's right.
All the time.
Corner booths, sticky floors, weekdays that feel like weekends. You never forget the way some things taste. Miller Lite, great taste, 90 calories. Tastes like Miller time.
Let's get back to the leadoff and talk about some stories developing in Major League Baseball. Looks like Giancarlo Stanton is back on the injured list. Here's a guy that has been on the injured list in every year that he's been on the New York Yankees, it seems, and he's back there again. He hit a ball that looked like it was going out of the park. It didn't, so he turned it on, and as he was running the second and got out of the home run trot, he kind of injured a hammy. So he's out on the IL again.
Yeah, you're right. He's injuries hit him all the time, seems
he's
like
had
it's
quad strains, right ankle inflammation. He's had tendonitis in the Achilles. He's had another hamstring injury. So, yeah, he's just he plays. And when chronic, great, but he's out all the time.
He's got chronic, leg problems, But when you're built like that, gosh, he's like built like a Greek god, So
he is.
Maybe don't go in the weight room so often. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, Dodgers catcher Will Smith also out, a reported concussion, and he will be out for a while. So he's on the IL, and that's like you said, you're behind the plate, and that's a tough position to play.
Hey, you know what, though, John? Hey, concussions are viewed so different today than they used to be, right? It used to be, if somebody got their bell rung, they used to say, they give them some smelling salt,
smelling
right?
Salt, right. Yeah.
It's like, all right, hey, I'm good. Go get him, coach. And then you're running into the wrong huddle in the wrong dugout, But hey, a real quick funny story. After I got drafted, I was down in an instruction league in St. Pete, Florida. We were playing. I think it was the Expos team down there, and it was this big. They had this big outfit. I think his name was Roy Smith. Was it Roy something? Anyway, he's on second base. He's big. I think he was a big football player in college. He comes around home plate. He comes around third base, and he smokes me, man. Knocks me down. Bang my head against the ground, right? So I finished the inning, and then I went into the bathroom at the facility there, and I was throwing up, So the trainer, we had this real old trainer. His name was Tom McKenna. He was about 90 back then,
I remember
right?
him.
He was a legend.
Yeah,
and he was an NHL trainer and a Major League Baseball trainer. So he said, Johnny, I got to take you home tonight to keep an eye on you, watch you for a few hours so you don't fall asleep. He said, all right, Tommy. So he took me home, and I sat on the couch, for about 5 or 6 hours until about midnight. He's got this big old bulldog, man, this big old English bulldog. He and his wife were sitting over the table playing cards, and I'm sitting there, and they got this big old bulldog slobbered all over me. He turned check. Finally, he sent me home. He said, "You'll be all right," And I think I was ready to go the next day. So now they got a different protocol, and it's probably smart.
I mean, it's safety first now, of course, but the game has changed, and they are taking care of these guys anytime that you had a little.
Yeah, that's smart. They need to.
It is absolutely. But one of your buddies, Josh Donaldson. He's working his way back to the Yankees. He's been out for a while, and he's been struggling there. There's a lot of he's just been getting hammered in the media by the fans. So he's going to be playing Double-A, trying to get back to the majors. What's Josh really well, and what's going on, and does he really care? I know, and he cares about the game, obviously, but the fan reaction. He's a tough guy, as you know. What do you think is going through Josh, and what advice would you give him as he tries to make his way back to the majors?
Well, number one, he's getting older, man. His body's breaking down. He's put that body through a lot in his career.
Yeah.
He's always been a hard player. He always plays close to 160 games a year. That takes its toll, But if there's one guy that can handle the heat in New York that I would bet on, it would be Josh. Because he's going to fight back, or he's not going to let it destroy him, right?
Yeah.
But it was like even in the book I wrote about, they call it "screw you money," right? Because he's got a guaranteed deal, and they owe him.
He's got close to 30 mil coming to him still.
Yeah, so basically he'd say, "Well, screw you. You got to pay me anyway. Do whatever you want."
Yeah, because he's got the guarantee for this year, and then he's got the team buyout, buyout for next year. So that comes up to about 30 mil. So I guess he's going to be pretty set no matter what happens. And if they boo him out of New York, I guess, oh, well, I'm getting paid.
It's not going to be like Eddie Whitson where they're going to follow him home and all that. Remember Eddie Whitson? Oh my God.
They tortured him. Hey,
don't ever write off Josh Donaldson. I'll tell you that.
No, I'm really I really admire him, impressed by him, and just the history that I got to know, even talking to you about how much he meant to your teams. Finally, I mean, there's it was kind of crazy if you saw this over the weekend. Cody Bellinger returned to Los Angeles. He had a great run over there, and he's a Chicago Cub now. And he goes
MVP.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So he goes to bat. The fans, of course, pay their respects, standing ovation. And then he gets called for a pitch violation that he didn't get in the batter's box quick enough, and they call a ball on him. What's going on with that, John?
Oh, hey, ask the commissioner. Don't ask me. But listen. I think the umpire was Jim Wolf. I read right. Wolfie's he's a good guy. He's one of the better umpires, right? But come on, Wolfie, have a little court awareness. This guy's homecoming. They generally, if the fans love it, they give you a little. Everybody, it's part of it, right? So I don't know. He must have been making sure he kept everything just tight and what have you. But funny story about this Wolfie guy, right? Well, his brother used to be that left-handed pitcher, Randy Wolf.
Oh, okay.
But Jim Wolf, the umpire, he's really into fitness, and he's at the gym a lot. Man, he's a buff guy, right? Mm-hmm. So we'd always talk around the game and say the hitters like, listen, if Wolfie's the umpire behind home plate, when you go up there, you say, hey man, damn, you look strong or something. Give him like this, and he loves it, man. And then you got him.
Show the pythons.
Oh yeah, I say, Jimmy, you're looking good, man. You've been working out, and then he'll be on your side the rest of the night.
Wow. I tell you, Lenny Dykstra, and I know you know Lenny, you know Nails. I had not seen Lenny in years, really since Shelby, and he made the Mets, and then he got traded and became a Philly. Okay. So this is just a quick little story. I hadn't seen him in years, and the guy, when I saw him in Philadelphia, was like jacked up to the max. And I said hello to him, and all I could say, Lenny, And I'm going to say something, but this is kind of like it was back in the day and everyone knew it. I was like, Lenny, man, what happened? How big you are? He goes, hey, dude, it was the blank and steroids, So that was nails. But he was jacked. But I guess,
Well, that Wolfie ate on the juice, I don't think, but it's like, oh, but poor Leonard, man. Yeah. Lenny was never going to lie. That's for dang sure.
No, Lenny's an interesting dude. Probably one of the most interesting guys I ever met. And you do, because you roomed with him for a while, but he's a little nutty. But that's going to about wrap up this segment, the lead off. And now it's going to be time for Gabbing with Gibbies, of course, brought to you by Tim Hortons. And John, you are holding up a Tim Hortons cup earlier today. For baseball fans on the go, Tim Hortons has a snack for that. New savory pastries are available in herb and garlic and jalapeno flavors, baked fresh throughout the day and now served warm.
Hey, I had a couple of those while I was up there, man, on this last trip. They're good. Go for it.
This week's Gabbing with Gibbies guest is becoming just a few short weeks one of the most popular players for the Blue Jays, who has not only hit his way into the fans' hearts, but also captured them with his glove as well. Let's welcome Jays center fielder Kevin Kiermaier to this week's Gabbing with Gibby. Kevin, pleasure to meet you, man.
Likewise. Thank you. Thanks for having me on. Life as a Blue Jay has been great, and I'm excited to answer all your guys' questions today.
There you go.
Hey, hey Kev, when I saw when they signed you this offseason, I go, that was like my favorite move, right? And I say that because I don't know, not only when I was managing there, right, but being a Blue Jay fan, I don't know how many times Blue Jays fans and coaches, staff, and guys would watch you rob that team, man, of home runs, base hits. It's like, well, you got to be kidding me, man. Now you finally got this guy on your team, and I think that was a brilliant move.
Yeah, thank you. We've had some fun battles over the years, and I've always tried to make plays and be a hassle for the opposition as much as I could. I love going out there and doing what I do. And now I've always loved coming to Toronto 3 times a year, every year. So they were the first team that reached out in free agency, and I was thrilled from the get-go. And they wanted me and appreciated me more than any other team. So it was an easy choice for me. And, a couple weeks into the season now, I knew I made the right choice back in December, but now more than ever. And life is great.
Yeah. You know what? Well, you won their hearts. They knew who you were, but you go back to that first series of years, St. Louis, you're making the sliding catches. And then for crying out loud, you get in the home opener. You can't write a better script, man, when you rob a home run. I mean, think about it, right? I mean, I know. You couldn't make that, or you couldn't lay that out any better than that.
I know. And I said baseball works in mysterious ways at times. Like, things just line up at times. And for me, it was like, okay, hey, they're doing all these renovations at the Rogers Center. They're lowering the wall it was like it was made for me in a sense. So I've just answered so many questions about this wall and everything. And then sure enough, the second inning, I'm out there for the home opener in Toronto, and the place was packed and electric. I'm able to make a play like that and just show the fans, everyone out there, what I'm capable of doing and what I've done my whole career. And it was such a great moment for me, and it gave me the goosebumps getting that ovation from the Rogers Center. And I was just having the time of my life out there from the get-go. And what a way to start things off. And that's why I said baseball works in mysterious ways, and
the baseball gods,
glad
man,
to make that play. I know.
Hey, well, you almost got another one too, didn't you, later in the year?
I know. I had 2 more opportunities, actually, and I would have liked to have them back. But, sometimes I'm afraid to be great out there. But coulda, woulda, shoulda,
Hey, well, you you're one of those guys. You don't need a shorter wall. I know they lowered it, right? And that you don't need that, dude. You've been scaling them walls forever. Well, maybe you're a little. You ain't old, but maybe you're a little bit older. So, but you still got the leaps, huh?
Yeah, I still try to do it. Ever since I had hip surgery, like I haven't been able to do as much explosive like jumps like I have in the past, but still every now and then I try to save my bullets in there. But when I need to get up, I still got a little left in the tank. So try to age like a fine wine, Gibby. You know, I'm trying to go as long as I can.
Hey, all right. Hey, what about the last out yesterday? You kidding me with that?
Yeah, Jason, you know what? That's a play. I wasn't even mad in the slightest. It was just like, wow, what a play. Jason is a freak athlete. If someone's going to do it, it's going to be him. And he let me know about it, and I appreciate it.
Are you guys buddies?
It was good fun. Yeah, he's a great guy. And if I'm going to get one taken away, it probably would have been a double play anyway. Shortstop was right behind second base. You know, still got somewhat of the shift on, even without the shift nowadays. But he made a good play, and like I said, as the opposition, I always respect a good play. So gave him a hat tip. Game was over, but hey, that guy is a freak athlete. Do not sleep on Jason Adam.
Hey, I figured he'd probably say to you, "Hey, payback's a bitch, ain't it?" See, it's a little bit of your own medicine.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. All right. Well, listen, you know what? You were a great athlete in high school. I read up some things. You were going to go maybe play some football too, huh? Was it Purdue?
Yeah, that was a rumor. I don't know where that happened though, but I had a couple like D2, D3 schools looking at me. I was a late bloomer, but then I chose to go the JUCO route.
Just for
in college, playing baseball, and that worked out obviously. So yeah.
And then
I'll give you a quick. I never thought I was going to play pro baseball. Never thought I'd be in the big leagues. I wanted to go play D1 baseball eventually. And that's why I was like, all right, I'll go to junior college, try to get really good at baseball. I just want to play D1, get a scholarship, make it financially easier on my parents or however I have to figure this out. And then had a Tampa Bay scout see me my freshman year in December, right before Christmas break. And he handed me his card, and he was a scout who would end up signing me. But when I saw him that night, my life changed forever. I said, I want to go play pro now. And then I got into this mindset, and then, here I am 13 years later.
You know, hey, I could see you playing in the NFL, man. You got some size, you got speed, you got time. I can see that too, man. Especially you could be one of those guys for the like Wes Welker and those guys for the Patriots, you know?
Yeah.
But it's funny how that works, right? Like you said, I would assume like from day one, you were that golden boy and you were going to get, baseball was this and that. But it wasn't until like somebody, out of the blue, maybe saw you and showed some interest in you. That sparked your fire.
That lit a fire in me like nothing in my life has ever happened. I'm telling you, it was a life-changing moment. And I developed this mindset where I was just obsessed with working on my craft every day, just swinging in my apartment, doing sprints, doing everything to see how good I could get. And then I got better very rapidly, having that focus, and had a great freshman year. Thought I was going to get drafted. And then my sophomore year had another really good year. Fell to the 31st round, but I was like, you know what? All I need is an opportunity. I'm the youngest I'll ever be. I know I can play. Let's go see what happens. And it was the best choice I ever made.
That's all. People sometimes get caught up because I was a first round pick, right? And you know what? So nice. a lot of first round picks go bad. Is my point. So, and you're 30 or 30, whatever. And look at so that doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. You got to get in the door, right?
Yep. Get your foot in the door. Life's all about taking advantage of opportunities. Whether you're a first rounder or 31st, I knew that I had to play good quickly to let them know that. The small signing bonus, I didn't want to be released, and I wanted to solidify myself early, and I did that, and it helped me make a career out of it.
And then you went through. Hey, you flew through the system pretty quick too.
I never repeated levels. That was my only goal. I said, I hope I can get an in-season promotion. That'll be a bonus, but I don't ever want to repeat. And then once I got to AA, I got called up to AAA in 2000. That was on 2013. And then called up to the big leagues to make my debut in game 163 in the one-game wild card playing game. So it all happened quickly, but it instilled that confidence in me. And once I had that in there and knew I could play with, the best players on the planet, it took my game to the next level. And, once again, it helped me sustain a career. And I'm 9 years into it and still having the time of my life.
Hey, you've had a great, you brought a great dynamic to Toronto, and the fans, the way they've embraced you, Kevin, has been incredible. Now, going to the Jays, coming from a division rival, spending all those years in Tampa Bay, explain to us a little bit about the dynamics between the fan bases and how you've been embraced and what the atmosphere is at the Rogers Center in comparison to Tampa.
Well, I mean, it's that's it's
that
two
a tough
completely different markets. I mean, you're talking 40 million people in all of Canada rooting for one baseball team in their country, and then you got a team like the Rays who have been a small market team forever, and are in a very small Tampa, St. Pete compared to these other cities that have millions. So that's a tough question, and it's what I say about Toronto, though, I know these people here are in Canada in general. They love their sports teams, and I have felt the love since the get-go. I came up here to Toronto in January. They had a winter tour, and me and some of the other players went to a hockey game. And obviously, the Maple Leafs are huge. Everyone loves them, rightfully so. And then when the camera panned to the Blue Jays, people were pumped to see the guys even in January, months before the season started. So I knew right away that these people were serious about their sports, and I'm just so honored and privileged to try to go put a great product on the field for these people to root for and live vicariously through us out there on the field. I mean, we care so much and want to be the best dang team out there, and it's so fun to be a part of. And once again, these fans showing me the love they have, it brings the best out of me. I jokingly said I might have peaked too early making that catch and then hitting a homer, because I think people are going to expect that every day out of me. But I'll get up to my old tricks. Just please love me through the good and bad. But it's been an awesome start to 2023, and like I said, I'm having the time of my life, meshing with a new group of guys and such a fun, talented, hungry team.
Yes.
And you feel at home there too. I mean, you actually, for the first time in your major league career, rode your bicycle to the ballpark.
Yeah, that was so much fun. I randomly one day just looked. I'm like, are there any electric bike stores near me? And there's one like a mile away, right on the way to the field. I'm like, all right, I'm going today. I'm buying one. I'm about 4.5 miles away from the field. So I said, you know what? This will give me a chance to see the city a little bit better. And I want to take all this in as much as possible.
Yes.
And when I did that, in Tampa, I live 26 miles away from the field. So no shot I'm doing, that's not even a thought. But for me, I'm like, you know what? I want to expand my horizons, do something different. And I rode to the field twice over the weekend. And it was a thrill for me. It was so much fun. And I'm going to do it many more times.
Hey, you know what, Kev? Canadians, right? If you give Canadians a good effort, they'll love you. And a lot of it, I think, is because the hockey's such a big thing up there, right? You can't dog it. You can't cut corners in hockey, right? Or you just can't survive. So if you give them a good effort, because they're hardworking, honest, no BS type people, they love their beer. All that. Yep. They're genuine. I mean, so it doesn't surprise me that you won them over like that, because you're an infectious guy anyway. But I got to ask you something. We were talking about, playing down in Tampa, right? And I gave it this name a few years ago when we were there. The House of Horrors, man. What is it about that? I'm telling you, hey, things happen in that place, man, that shouldn't happen against. I don't care how good a team the opponent is, the visiting team. Things just happen, man. What is it?
Yeah, there's a play affected by that roof once a game, and it never fails. You know, we're trying to catch a dirty white ball on a dirty white roof, and it's hard. It's hard on the eyes, but from what I hear now that I'm an opposing player, and guys love to talk to me about the Trop, and guys that come from various places, guys don't like hitting there. I don't know what it is about it, but guys say it just seems a little dark in there, and I'm like, I don't know if I was just numb to everything, but I loved it there.
Oh, you knew.
That was my home plate, my home. You know, I'm biased towards it, but I always loved it. But a lot of Blue Jays guys, they don't like hitting there, and you know, guys are coming out the woodwork saying all these different things. But
hey, well, part of it's, man,
I don't know.
Part of it's pretty good. Part of it's the pretty good pitching staffs he threw at him every night. That was part of the reason not liking to hit there either. You know.
Yeah. This game gets harder every year, man. These pitchers they throw harder. Their stuff is nastier. It's funny. I always tell guys this. David DeJesus played 12 years in the big leagues. He was on the team with me in 2014, and he retired after that year. And he said, if pitching was like this in 2014, if it was like this back in 2002, he was like, I promise you, I would have been in the wrong business, wrong game. And here I am now saying, if pitching was like what it is in 2023 and 2014, there's no way I'd have a 9-year career. These pitchers are so dang good now. They are nasty, and they get nastier by the year. It seems like scary.
No doubt. But I see, I disagree with that, because your style of game, right? You put the ball in play. You can play the small ball. You can play the gap game. You can run the bases. And you'll juice the ball every so often, right? You've hit your fair share. I don't think people realize that. But that plays. I don't care who's on the mound, right? You get these guys that are just strictly sluggers. You can get overpowered by these guys, and if you don't have anything else to your game, you know.
Yep.
But you know, you've won some go. I was looking this up. Let me pull this up here real quick if I can find it, because you know, you're always, when you win the Gold Gloves like that, right? I mean, every time I turn on the highlight reel, right? Hey, there's Kiermaier again, for crying out loud, right? So let me find this here.
What do you got for me, Gibby?
All right, because I know what kind of offense you can play. Everybody knows you're a good offensive player. But I read this. Okay, be patient. Kevin finished in 2015 season leading all major league fielders in defensive runs saved with 42, the highest number since the start of calculations of the statistic. He garnered a 5.0 defensive wins above replacement WAR, fourth all-time according to Baseball Reference. But there's where it gets. His overall 7.3 WAR, and I'm not a big analytics guy, but I am right now. His overall 7.3 WAR ranked third in the American League behind Mike Trout and Josh Donaldson. That was Josh won the MVP that year.
Mm-hmm.
You were third in the league, man, in WAR.
I know, that's
incredible.
I had so many people tell me after that year that is why WAR is the dumbest stat of all time. I still don't understand it, so I don't. Because it was like I hit 263 with 10 homers that year, but I probably had the best defensive outfield season ever, at least as far as I know. But it did what it did to the WAR, and people would just be like, it's the dumbest thing ever. And I'm like, I don't know. I go out there and I try to make plays, and I can't control what these numbers are. Don't yell at me. Yell at the people who come up with the stat. I don't care.
Hey, well, you know what it does? It highlights the complete player, right? Not just the one-dimensional guys. You put it all, you know, that, and that's what the game's supposed to be. You know, you got to be able to. The really great players play both sides of the ball. That's just you know, because in defense wins championships, man. You guys got a great offense, right? But if all you did this year was outslug teams, you're not going to win in the end. But what you
Yep.
have now, you have one of the best, arguably maybe the best defensive team in the league too. You could put up that argument. That's what's going to win it for you guys, along with the offense. And all you need to do is get some steady pitching.
Yep. We'll be fine. We haven't even caught our stride yet. And, but once we get, everyone firing on all cylinders, then it's going to be fun. Then watch out. But this is how it is. Early season, you never know, who everything changes when it matters. So it's okay.
Right.
We got off to a great start. I love what we're about as a team. Guys have fun with each other. We get along, and it has all the things to lead to a very successful, awesome, winning, popping champagne several times type of season. Like you kind of know the demeanor or overall feel about the group, and this is a great one, and that's a beautiful thing.
Oh yeah, you could tell. Hey, one thing I'm glad you guys did, man. I got to tell you, you got rid of that home run jacket, for crying out loud. That's it. You know what?
Well, I wasn't here when I was a part of it, but I think guys wanted to go away without it this year, and I was all for it. I'm old school, Gibby. I'm an old school guy.
I know that.
Man. So that was the consensus of the players who were here before me. That was their choice, and guys like what we're doing right now. So keeping it a little bit more traditional, which is it's good.
Well, I got to change. At first I said I thought you were the best move the Blue Jays made all winter. I got to move you down to number 2. I think the number 1 is getting rid of that jacket.
Okay. I'll take number 2 to that. That's fine.
Oh man. Well, listen. Hey, there's you know what? I'm a Blue Jay. I'll be a Blue Jays fan forever. But I'm not a homer, right? But I look at your guys' team, and I like all the additions. No doubt. You're leading the way. And you guys have a legitimate shot to win it all. Everybody can't say that. You got extra wild card teams nowadays. So I think it's great for the game. More teams can get in, but everybody can't say they got a legitimate shot unless they get really, really hot or something like that, because the top teams rise to the occasion. But you guys got a legitimate shot to win it all this year.
Yep. Yeah, we sure do. We have, I love how we have so many different weapons. You got guys like, you got Vladdy, Bo, George, guys who can, every time they step in that batter's box, they have a legit shot of hitting a homer, whether they catch it flush or not. These guys are so dang good. I love having them at the top of the lineup every night. It just makes it at the bottom of the order like we don't have to do as much, because the big boys, they're going to do a lot of thumping all year. But then we got speed guys. We got guys who can get on base, bunt, steal bags, and we all complement each other very well. And on the pitching end, I love our rotation, love our bullpen. We got guys. Once we catch these guys, pitching with a little bit more confidence here and there, we'll be good to go. But we have so many weapons that can beat you in so many ways, and we're coming to the field. We're expecting to win series. We're expecting to win games each and every day. We're starting to get that confidence really rolling, and you need that. And the teams that sustain that consistently throughout the season are the teams who are playing at the end. And once again, we got all the ingredients to success. We got our just got to go out there and execute, play our game, stay healthy, and I can't wait to ride the wave with these guys all year. Exactly.
Hey, I got one more thing for you. Then we're gonna let you go. You got a ball game today, right? Okay. This last series, you played Tampa. You won 2 out of 3, right? And I know what people say. Well, it's early in the season, and this and that. But going into that series, if you looked at the pitching matchups, right? Barrios been struggling a little bit. Kikuchi. They've been kind of the whipping boys, because that's how baseball it is when they nobody's allowed to struggle, right?
Yeah,
it happens to everybody, but gosh, don't ever struggle. Yep. So anyway, and they both stepped up big time, right? And then they let you guys do your thing on the offensive side of it. So it's the first month of the season. But I think you guys sent a good message. That could have gone the other way. If you look at the pitching matchups, if they had struggled, you reverse that, you're not feeling as good right now. I mean, that's because that's the psychological sides of the game, right? And Tampa's really, I think you guys sent them a good message. I like your lineup much better than they like theirs. They got really good pitch. They got everything they need as well.
Yeah.
But I think you guys sent a good message against a pretty damn good team over the weekend.
Yeah, they come in 13-0, trying to set a record 14-0. We were all not ready. We didn't want that to happen, and we knew it's like, hey, we're playing a good team. This is early in the season, but let's see what we're about. And George led off the game with a 116-mile-per-hour homer, and that just kind of set the tone for the next two games. Like we came out, bats were hot, and you play with confidence, and when we play with the lead, we're very good. We're very good, and when we can score them runs early on, that's when we seem to be our most dangerous. Going off the small sample size of this year so far. But yeah, you want to go play them good teams, and you want to beat them, win a series like we did, and we feel really good about ourselves right now. We got a good Astros team we're going to play tonight, and we just want to keep it rolling.
Perfect, man. Well, listen, we appreciate your time. Hey, real quick, how's Romano? Is Romano all right? Did he get that ball in the rib or something, or what?
Yeah, he's good. He's Canadian tough, man. That don't phase him. He's ready to roll.
You're right.
He's ready to roll.
Dude, you're 100% right. I think you might be part Canadian. You sound like it.
I got it a little bit here or there. I like the ice fish. I like the snowmobile. I like to do it all.
Good for you.
Yep.
All right. Well, listen, man, we sure appreciate your time, pal. We're rooting for you.
Thanks, Gibby. Thanks for having me on. Great time.
All right. Best of luck.
All right. Thank you.
There's another great Gabbing with Gibby. Very, very cool to speak to KK. And, of course, Gabbing with Gibby brought to you by Tim Hortons. And also, now inspired by our friends at Miller Lite, Gibby. It's time for another Roast and Toast for the week. First, we're going to go for your roast of the week. Who's the victim?
Ooh. Well, when I was up there, the home opener against Detroit Tigers, right? Rebuilding. They've been rebuilding now for a few years, I guess. But Javier Baez, right?
Javi Baez.
You know what? It wasn't okay. This wasn't like it was an isolated incident. He forgot the outs, right? But when you're bad, when the team's bad, you can't afford those things. Plus, if you're the high dollar player, Miguel Cabrera's their guy, but he's on his on his farewell tour. So Baez is the big signee from, gave him like 140, 150 million bucks, right? I don't know why, but they did because they weren't going anywhere. But it's not just that, right? You watch their team, they were making base run mistakes left and right? And people say, well, you learn base running at the big leagues. No, you should learn you learn base running back when you're in high school and college or in the minor leagues, making mistakes that shouldn't happen, right? And so not just that, but then Baez, your main guy, even the night before he got yanked, he's on third base, medium fly ball to right field, not going to be able to score, but he just stands on third base like no effort, didn't try to bluff or even try to throw home from Springer. It's like so I'm sitting there watching that, and I guarantee Hinch was watching that. It's like, really, I mean, we got. Come on, dude. We got to do a little bit better than that. It's almost like he's protested or something, right? So anyway.
We had him a couple of years ago on the Mets. Not a fan.
Yeah.
The bad influence he had on the team. He just was like, it seemed to be, he never was fully in the game. He's always.
I don't know. Yeah, it was almost like a showman. But anyway, so he, he forgets the outs, right? And then Hinchy, what I didn't like, I thought, great job, Hinchy, get him out of the game, right? Because it's easy to pick on the little guy. Anybody can do that. You got to go. It's not like you got to make sure you hold your top dogs accountable, right? It doesn't mean you nitpick. Yeah, for these younger guys, you don't nitpick everything, and mistakes do happen. But when it seems to be happening quite a bit, and your top guy looks like he doesn't even really care. So then what I didn't like is he let him play the bottom half of the inning, and then he took him out. He said, Hinchy, buddy of mine says, he doesn't like to embarrass anybody. Well, for crying out loud, this guy right here has been embarrassing the last couple of nights, and I guarantee you that he embarrassed you a few times the year before. So sometimes you got to say, okay, enough's enough. So, and then then he played the next day. It's like, there's certain things, Hitchy's a
You
good
would have
manager.
sat him out more than what you would have sat him out a game or two to kind of set the example. Is that what you would have done?
Boy, it's the old, it's like they used to say, we're losing with you. We can lose without you, right? Yeah. It's not like we're anyway. So, but good for Hitchy for doing that, because it just kind of it's effort doesn't take much, for anybody, especially making that kind of money in smart baseball. Come on, those are fundamentals in not just him, a few of the guys on the team. You should have known back in high school or minor league baseball. By the time you get to the big leagues, you should know that.
Well, let's go to your toast of the week. Who are you toasting?
Oh gosh, I got to go with the beautiful new ballpark, right? I think they did some wonderful things. Mark Shapiro, he's really good at that stuff. In putting all that stuff together like they did down in the spring training facility. And it seemed like the fans love it. It looks like a real ballpark now, because it used to look like that cookie cutter setup, but there was only so much you could do. But remember though, now the bottom line is you keep a good team on the field, they shall come, right?
They will come. They will. Yeah.
A bad team on the field. A bad team on the field that nobody's coming to look at the stadium. I guarantee you that. They got a team that should be really, really good for a long time, and tend to do very well.
Yeah, I know you had a chance to walk around a little bit, see the configuration. And what's your impression on the bullpen configuration there? Fans are really close to those guys now.
I love it, but I did see that one game. The Tiger pitcher's coming to the game, and a Blue Jay fan sitting there. I mean, he could touch him, right? He's hammering him. So that could cause a problem. You remember Anthony Rendon earlier in the year? They were playing out in Oakland, the Angels third baseman, and everybody walks behind the home plate to go to the clubhouses after the game, and somebody was jawing at Rendon. And they can lean over the stage. They're very close to the fans, too, there. I think he swung at one. There was an altercation. So you're just asking for trouble if there's that much access, maybe like some kind of barrier you can put up, or a couple more security guys. Or something. Because you got to protect these players, man, because, otherwise they'll own the Blue Jays, or they'll own that stadium. Something crazy happen.
Well, appreciate that, John. Of course, this is the Roast and Toast, and that was, of course, inspired by our presenting sponsors over at Miller Lite.
Corner booths, sticky floors, weekdays that feel like weekends. You never forget the way some things taste. Miller Lite, great taste, 90 calories. Tastes like Miller time.
We're going to about wrap it up, John. I mean, it's another great show, and I know that you're heading back up to the Great White North and heading back up to Toronto. You got an appearance this weekend at the Sports Expo in Toronto, so you'll be signing, baseballs and photos. So I'm sure the fans are up there going to be looking for you, and you have another
hockey pucks
week ahead. Hockey pucks. You'll be signing hockey pucks. There you go.
Hey, last week, man, it was like the middle of the summer last week. The weather was so beautiful there. I mean, it was incredible. Wasn't
it the earliest, like the roof was open at the Rogers Center too? I mean,
yeah. Oh, yeah. I've never seen it like that before.
It looked beautiful. I mean, it really did. I certainly hope to get a chance to get up there sometime this year. And that's going to wrap it up, John. I just want to say congratulations on everything that's going on with you again. And don't forget to pick up your copy of Gibby's book, wherever books are sold. We will be back next week to talk more baseball with you right here on the Gibby Show. For Gibby, my name is John Arezzi, and we will see you next week. Go Jays.